Stay tuned for my next video recapping this cruise, which includes the dining options I had on board. Welcome back to my Adventure to the Seas cruise recap. So first off, because I live about 6 to 7 hours drive away from the port, I spent the night before up in Newark, New Jersey. I stayed at the Holiday Inn Newark, and because I had points from IHG, I was able to stay the night free, but the parking is $19. At least it was at the time of this video. So that morning, I made sure I took care of my safety check on the app, so that way when I got on board, I would just be able to go to my muster station and get signed in there. So the hotel was just less than 20 minutes away from the port. My check-in was at 10:30 a.m. But if you are parking your car there, you drive up to the ship, and if you're going to park in the parking garage, you actually can drop off your luggage, checking your luggage prior to you going to the parking garage, which was really convenient. And I didn't even do that. So I ended up parking, because I didn't know that was a thing. So I ended up parking my car in the garage. Then I had to come out. But the way it's set up, you pretty much go straight to inside the port and start checking in. So because of that, I had to come back out, go all the way around to where I could check my bag. So if you are parking your car there, definitely take that route of checking your bags prior to getting to a parking garage. It's very convenient. 5-day cruise parking was $125 as of the time of this video. So while I was checking in, for the first time ever, I had something of mine was confiscated. It was a actual charger that I use, and I have had it since 2019. Went on two other cruises besides this, and that's why I was kind of surprised that it was confiscated. But maybe it's because it was the port that I was in Newark. The other ports was in Puerto Rico and in Orlando, so maybe the protocols are different. But I'll put up what it actually is. As you see on the screen, it actually advertises that it's good for cruises, but they were confiscating it because of, I guess they said those were catching fire on the ship. Once I'm on board, I went directly to my muster station, so that was really quick. So when you get on board, for the most part, Royal advertises that the rooms are going to be open by 2. Luckily, the rooms were open prior to that, maybe about 1:30. 1:15, 1:30. So I went to my room. My SeaPass card was at the door. So that seems to be the way forward now, is that you do not get your SeaPass card at the port. You get it at your door, or when you check in at the port. My room was a stateroom 8567. It's a interior promenade room, which means it has a window, but the window opens up to the promenade. And I had a view of Izumi's and another couple stores, as you see, from my room. This was an actual Royal upgrade for me. I bid $90 to get this room, and I won it. I'm sure, depending on how many people are bidding, it's possible that it would go less or go more. But I wanted a balcony, but I was outbid. The good thing is the room, I'm thinking the windows may have been double paned, because you rarely hear anything. The only time I did hear anything from the promenade, or the promenade, or promenade, however you say it, was during one of the nights they had like a little gathering in the promenade, so it was a little bit noisier than normal. Well, noisier definitely, because I never hear anything. But by 10 o'clock, it was done. Like, it did not go on past 10. So they are very cognizant of their promenade interior rooms, to making sure that the ship itself does not conduct any business past a late hour in the promenade or any events. One thing I did notice that I hadn't noticed any other time, or it was my first time experiencing this, was Adventure to the Seas did not print out your daily cruise planners. They left a QR code in the room. So, which I didn't mind it. I actually have a link to them in the description below if you want to see like what a Bermuda cruise, 5-day Bermuda cruise activities would be like. You can look at Google Drive link. But if you did want to print a copy, all you had to do was ask the room attendant, no problem. I did not buy the drink package because I am Prime status in the Casino Royale, which this was a casino comp cruise, so I got it for free. All I had to pay was taxes and fees. So because I'm Prime status, I'm able to get free drinks in the casino, unlimited free drinks in the casino. So I didn't buy a drink package. So when I got on board, I was pretty excited to play some slots because like I said, this is a casino comp. So obviously when that happens, the casino wants you to come out and, you know, spend your money in the casino. So I wanted to do that. Unfortunately, the smoke though in the casino was just way terrible. I never experienced that. Even though on every other cruise besides my first one, I spent ample time in the casino and never experienced as much of smoke that I experienced on this ship. Basically everywhere you can smoke. So some ships in the Royal Fleet actually do mark off some slot machines or tables as being non-smoking. They do that. I think it all depends on the size. Now this is a relatively medium-sized casino, I guess you could say, maybe on the smaller side. But even the smallest ship I've ever been on was Grandeur of the Seas and Rhapsody of the Seas, and neither of them had the amount of smoke that this ship is, and they're smaller. So I think it's just the atmosphere or the setup, because they let you smoke everywhere, and you're supposedly only supposed to smoke when you're gambling, but there was people smoking when they weren't gambling. Now, for smokers, this is great. You guys are gonna love it. But for non-smokers, that was the only place that you couldn't smoke was at the bar. And everywhere else, it was just way too smoky for me. But like I said, for smokers, it's fantastic. Oh, one thing I wanted to say about my room, I had never seen this, but I had like a radio speaker in my room, like that kind of piped in music. I never had that on a cruise in a stateroom that I cruised with Royal before. So as you see the pictures, so that was interesting. It had a volume on off switch, so I kept mine off. But when I went into the room, like checked in, like I'm hearing music, and for some reason I don't know why, I thought it was just coming from, you know, the ship's intercom or whatever, but it was actually piped into the music to the room itself. So I thought that was kind of interesting. First time seeing that. So on the first sea day, I ate at Chops Grill for lunch, and this is the first time I ever did that. I actually ordered the lunch online prior to me arriving, and it was actually pretty decent. Here's the pictures I'll show you. So the food there was good, and then that evening I ate at the main dining room, as you see. So the third day, we arrived in Bermuda. Oh, that was very beautiful, and this was my first time actually going up topside and walking around as we actually pulling up to the pier. So, and it was this gorgeous water, beautiful. It was a beautiful day. So for dinner, I had booked a reservation at Izumi's. Now, mind you, like I said in my last series on Independence of Seas, I always eat at Izumi's on every sailing. This has like become my tradition. I love sushi. And so I eat at Izumi's on every sailing. But this is the first Izumi's that was actually located in the promenade. So it was on a lower level. Normally I've seen them on higher levels on other ships. And it did not have a hibachi grill. But it was nice service. The food was good, as you see the pictures. I loved it. So on day 4, I ate at the main dining room. Day 4 was our second day in Bermuda, but I never made it off the ship. But as you saw, the views I got after we were leaving were just phenomenal. All right, so on day 5, which is our second sea day, I had breakfast in the Windjammer, and I had the Taste of Royal for lunch. Now, the Taste of Royal, I was very excited about this. And this is basically a menu that is from various restaurants throughout Royal's fleet. So for my first course was a Citrus Seas tuna tartare from Wonderland. The second course was a mascarpone cheese risotto with crab meat from Giovanni's Table, which this is where, on this ship, that's where I was. I was in Giovanni's table. The third was a filet mignon and spicy jumbo shrimp from Chops Grill. Phenomenal. And the fourth was a fried cheesecake from 150 Central Park. I never had a fried cheesecake, but it was really good. I loved it. Right before the lunch started, they gave everybody champagne as they were entering. So that was cool. But it also offered a flight of wine that was curated for each course. So I bought that for an additional $20, which was really good. Because I'm thinking a flight, I'm thinking they were going to be like really small servings of the wine, but it was a regular size. So it was really good. I definitely want to try Taste of Royal on another ship to see if the menus change, or and see if it's hosted in different place in a different restaurant on board. So my next cruise is going to be on Mariners of the Seas. I'm definitely doing the Taste of Royal on that ship. So that night they had the farewell show in the theater, and I guess I haven't really gone to many farewell shows. So for this one, they actually played a video of the guests throughout their time on that sailing. So you saw from the beginning of folks coming in to the end. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was kind of cool. I thought that was very personable, because, you know, folks that were in the audience, they were, you know, cheering when they saw themselves on the big screen. So I thought that was really nice to basically kind of like recapped your week as you were right before you left. So that was kind of nice. All right, so Embarkation Day was a bit different than I experienced on Independence of the Seas, and I thought it was going to be somewhat the same because of the fact that, you know, with COVID, a lot of the protocols are changing. But for this one, on Independence of the Seas, they actually, like maybe on the second day, they gave me a card saying, hey, fill out or go to this website to tell us how do you want to leave? Do you want to leave with your own bags, or do you plan on having the ship take care of your bags the night before, and you just go get them once you get into the port? But on this, so I was waiting for that, because even in prior sailings before COVID, we would get that card that would, like, maybe on, you know, day 5 or something like that, and say, hey, what time do you plan on leaving? I remember that. At least please tell me in the comments below if I'm far from that, but I could have sworn that's what we did prior to COVID. But this ship, it didn't give me an option at all. Now, as I thought about it, maybe because of on day 4 they did. In day 4, I never left my room. So maybe that was why, but I figured if that was the case, my room attendant would have told me something, but he didn't. But, so I never got a letter or paper saying, hey, asking me when do I want to leave. So on that day 5, that night, or that morning actually, for folks who have traveled on Royal, they give you a slip with a number on it that you put on your, like a tag for your luggage, to say, hey, this is, you know, you're in this group, right? And it was like number 27. And I'm like, I was driving back, so I wanted to leave extremely early to get on the road. So I definitely wanted to be one of the first ones off. So I told my room attendant, I was like, I plan on taking my own bags, so I need a lower number tag. So he ended up giving me like a number 2 tag or something like that, which I don't think that really matters. Maybe it does, I don't know. I didn't think, wondering if the tags really matter when you're leaving the boat, but maybe they do. So that morning, but they said the first, even for the folks who are leaving, walking out with their bags, it still couldn't do it until 8 o'clock. So I still thought that was kind of late. So, because we were pulling in at 6 something, and I guess of course it all depends on how good if the port's ready for you to receive you. But so I was like, okay, well, if I can't leave until 8 o'clock, let me go grab something to eat. But as I'm going to the main dining room to grab breakfast, I'm seeing people lined up, ready to go. So I was like, wait a minute, you guys can do this? And one of the guys was like, yeah, I gotta work today, so I'm trying to get off the ship. So I was like, okay, well, let me go grab my bag. So I went and grabbed my bag and got in line, because I was like maybe like 7th, 8th person in line before the exit. And one of the workers or the staff came out and was like, hey, you can't stand here, but you can leave your bag. So that was good. I was able to leave my bag there to basically mark my place. So luckily the port was able to receive us earlier than 8 o'clock, so that was good. So I was able to walk off pretty quick. But remember, my stuff got confiscated, right? So I had to go and stop at the little area where you grab your stuff that was confiscated, and you give them a little ticket that they give you when they take your stuff. So I was able to get my my charger stuff, and I was on my way. Very, very easy. Now, mind you, you have to pay, if you have never parked in Jersey, have to pay your parking prior to going back to your car. But other than that, that was great. Overall, it was a good cruise. I'm looking forward to my sailing on January on Mariner the Seas out of Orlando. Cannot wait. And it's also a sister ship for the Adventure of the Seas. I will definitely be doing a comparison of the two. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this recap video, and I hope you will be able to get some info out of it. Thank you. See you next time.